Okay, so you've got a ton of models that you're getting ready to paint, and you need to prime them, and you want a quick and down and dirty way of doing it. This is a method that I use when I have large amounts of figures that I want to paint and I don't particularly want to be handling each one of them. These are the confrontation figures from the Cadwallon City of Thieves and the expansion. I want to paint all those up because they've got amazing sculpts, and I didn't want to have to, you know, handle each one of them while I was priming them and stuff. So this is what I did. It's basically what you need is paint stir sticks. I got these from Home Depot, and I think Lowe's. I think carries them in any of your hardware stores. Ace. I think you can even find them at Walmart on the free. And you're going to need your guys. These are all Black Reach orks, so we need to do a bunch of those. And then this is carpet tape. Some people say this stuff is too expensive. I, for one, believe that if you shop right, you can find it cheap. So I actually got it at the dollar store for I think $2, and you get a, I don't know, it's like an 18-foot roll or something silly. So for $2, I'm willing to spend that to save me some time and keep my hands paint free. So what you do is it's sticky on this side, so you take it and you lay it down on top of your ruler or your paint stick rather, and you just roll it out like so. And you take yourself a pair of scissors and you cut it, and then throw that back in the pile somewhere. So you end up with something like that. And it's got a handy dandy adhesive that you just peel off, throw away, and then you take your orks, and I like to face them out, face them this way. Don't point them that way where they're like lined up behind each other, because you don't get as good coverage with the primer this way. You get good enough coverage, but if you're doing, you know, 50 orks or 100 orks, you're just wanting to kind of speed this up. So that's what I'm looking for here. Anyway, you line your orks up, put your figures where there's some gaps between them so you can get the paint in there, and put them on there like that, and like that, and like so. And finally, this guy's gonna take up the end. And you put them on there, and if they're plastic, if they're metal, whatever the figure is, most of these that are this size don't weigh that much, and this is going no place. So then when you take your spray can, you just I use Krylon indoor-outdoor primer, and I just go through and I'll just dust them like this, and then dust them on top, and dust them to the back, and then run down the side and each side. And generally, that's all you really need, just enough to cover the model to get something to paint to stick to. But they're pretty tough to get off. I mean, you got, what I usually do is I'll take like the flat edge of a knife, or like this putty tool I got, and after they're done drying, and it'll just pop them off like that. So you can reuse it. You're obviously, this part here is going to be all grayed out from the paint or primered up. There'll be little circles, and this stuff is so sticky that you'll get at least one more use out of it. So I'll put, you know, the next batch in line in that same area, or even part of the base will cover it and hold it. This tape also has another good use, and that is for knocking everything over, is for holding your miniature when you want to paint. This is just a cap to a can, a spray can, and you take your carpet tape and you put it on top there, and then you can move it all around. It gives you something a little bigger to hold on to, so that when you're painting your model, you're not you know, trying to hold on to that little tiny base, and you're not getting your hands all over the base or all over any of the parts. And you can turn it around and flip it upside down, do whatever you need to. I learned this from Marika Reimer's How to Paint DVD that she's got. I think it's by Dark Sword Miniatures, and this is a great tip, great thing to do, and it comes right off. You can reuse it. So sometimes that pops off too. So, but even a heavier miniature, like I had a warjack on there. Of course, I just used a couple. Well, basically, I just coated the top. I made like 2 rows there, and then put the big warjack on top, and it held it just fine. That's a lot heavier mini. Granted, you don't want to be shaking one of those around, but it holds it enough to do your painting. So, anyway, that's my tip, and hope it helps. See ya.